Welcome back to Unstoppable Mindset. There are people who wake up every morning already defeated. Not because life has destroyed them, but because their thinking has weakened them. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not with people, not with circumstances, not with the economy, not with your past. The greatest battle is the war between your ears. Your mind is the control center of your destiny. And if your mind is weak, your life will eventually reflect that weakness. A positive mental attitude is not pretending problems do not exist. It is not fake smiling while your world is collapsing. It is not denying pain, struggle, disappointment, or pressure. A positive mental attitude is the disciplined decision to believe that your current situation does not have the final authority over your future. That is the difference. Most people allow their environment to shape their mentality. They allow criticism to define them. They allow failure to label them. They allow rejection to stop them. But when you develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude, you stop living as a victim of circumstances and start living as a creator of possibilities. You must understand something powerful. Your life moves in the direction of your dominant thoughts. Whatever controls your mind controls your actions. Whatever controls your actions controls your habits. Whatever controls your habits controls your future. This is why protecting your mindset is one of the greatest responsibilities you will ever have. Some people are physically alive but mentally defeated. They walk around breathing, but internally they surrendered years ago. Every conversation is negative. Every opportunity looks impossible. Every challenge becomes an excuse. They expect failure before they even begin. And eventually life gives them exactly what they continuously believe. You cannot build a powerful future with a defeated mentality. The first step to developing an unbreakable positive mental attitude is guarding what enters your mind. Your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant there will eventually grow. If you continuously feed your mind with fear, doubt, gossip, negativity, and hopelessness, do not be surprised when anxiety becomes your lifestyle. Your mind was never designed to consume poison every day and still produce confidence. Some of you spend hours listening to people who have no vision, no discipline, no direction, and then you wonder why your energy disappears. Be careful who speaks into your life. Words carry power. Conversations carry power. Environments carry power. If you stay around people who constantly complain, eventually complaining becomes normal to you. If you stay around people who constantly quit, eventually quitting becomes your instinct. A strong mindset requires intentional mental nutrition. Read things that strengthen your faith. Listen to things that inspire growth. Surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking and push you toward purpose. Your mind cannot produce greatness if it constantly consumes garbage. And hear this clearly, your attitude must not depend on conditions. Anybody can stay positive when money is flowing, when relationships are working, when opportunities are appearing, and when life feels comfortable. But true mental strength is revealed during pressure. Can you still believe when nothing is working? Can you still move forward after disappointment? Can you still stand after rejection? That is where unbreakable mentality is born. Every great person faced seasons where life made no sense. Every visionary faced criticism. Every leader faced loneliness. Every successful person experienced failure. But what separated them from average people was not talent alone. It was mentality. They refused to allow temporary pain to create permanent defeat. You have to train yourself to think beyond the moment. Some people collapse emotionally because they think today is forever. One bad season convinces them their entire life is ruined. One mistake convinces them they are worthless. One rejection convinces them they will never succeed. But mature thinking understands that life moves in seasons. Tough times do not stay forever. Pressure is temporary. Delays are temporary. Pain is temporary. What matters is whether your mentality survives the storm. Stop speaking weakness over your life. Some people destroy themselves with their own words. Every day they say things like, "I can't do it. My life will never change. Nothing works for me. I'm always unlucky." Understand this, your words reinforce your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your reality. If you continuously speak defeat, your mind will eventually accept defeat as truth. Your mouth must learn to agree with your vision, not your fear. There is power in disciplined self-talk. When life becomes difficult, you must learn to encourage yourself. When nobody believes in you, you must still believe in yourself. When opportunities disappear, you must still prepare for greatness. A positive mental attitude means your inner voice becomes stronger than external negativity. And let me tell you something many people avoid hearing: developing mental strength requires responsibility. You cannot blame everybody forever. You cannot spend your entire life accusing your parents, your past, society, your failures, or your circumstances. At some point, maturity demands ownership. You must decide that regardless of what happened to you, you will not allow it to destroy your future. The moment you take responsibility for your mindset, your life begins to change. You may not control every event that happens around you, but you absolutely control your response. Two people can face the same storm and produce different outcomes. One becomes bitter, the other becomes wiser. One quits, the other grows stronger. The difference is mentality. Your attitude is more important than your environment, because your attitude determines how you respond to your environment. Some of you are waiting for motivation to change your life, but motivation is unreliable. Some days you feel inspired and some days you do not. Discipline is what sustains positive mentality. You must train your mind daily. Just like muscles become stronger through resistance, your mentality becomes stronger through challenges. Every difficult moment is an opportunity to develop emotional endurance. Stop running from pressure. Pressure reveals capacity. Diamonds are created under pressure. Leaders are developed under pressure. Vision is tested under pressure. Character is exposed under pressure. If you collapse every time life becomes uncomfortable, you will never discover how powerful you truly are. An unbreakable positive mental attitude also requires vision. People without vision become prisoners of circumstances. When you have no purpose, every obstacle feels overwhelming. But when your life has meaning, pain becomes easier to endure because you know there is something greater ahead. You need a reason to wake up with determination. You need goals that pull you forward. You need purpose bigger than temporary emotions. A person with vision can survive difficult seasons because their focus is fixed on the future, not just the present discomfort. And listen carefully. Protect your peace aggressively. Not every battle deserves your energy. Some arguments are distractions. Some relationships drain your strength. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you. Mentally strong people understand the importance of emotional boundaries. You do not have to attend every conflict. You do not have to respond to every insult. You do not have to prove yourself to everyone. Sometimes strength is silence. Sometimes strength is walking away. Sometimes strength is refusing to allow negativity access to your spirit. Many people lose their positivity because they constantly expose themselves to unnecessary chaos. Guard your mental environment. Peace is not weakness. Peace is power under control. You also need gratitude. Gratitude changes perspective. A grateful mind sees possibilities instead of limitations. It sees lessons instead of only losses. It sees progress instead of only problems. Some people are so focused on what they lack that they ignore the blessings they already possess. You woke up today. That is a gift. You still have another opportunity. That is a gift. You still have breath in your body. That is a gift. Never underestimate the power of gratitude in building emotional resilience. And understand this deeply. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is education. Every mistake teaches something. Every setback reveals something. Every disappointment develops something. People with weak mentality see failure as proof to stop. People with strong mentality see failure as feedback for growth. Do not fear falling. Fear staying down. Some of the strongest people you admire today were once rejected, ignored, criticized, embarrassed, and underestimated. But they kept moving. They kept learning. They kept growing. And eventually their persistence produced transformation. An unbreakable positive mental attitude is not built in comfort. It is built through repeated decisions to rise when life tries to bury you. So today, stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for everybody to support you. Stop waiting for fear to disappear. Stop waiting for life to become easy. Decide that your mindset will become stronger than your circumstances. Decide that negativity will not control your future. Decide that pressure will refine you instead of destroying you. Decide that your vision matters more than temporary pain. Because once your mentality changes, your actions change. When your actions change, your habits change. When your habits change, your life changes. And the moment your mind becomes unbreakable, your future becomes unstoppable. Most people do not realize that the quality of their life is shaped by the quality of their thinking. Long before success appears externally, it begins internally. Long before a person changes their circumstances, they must first change the condition of their mind. Your mind is not just a part of your life, it is the control center of your life. Every decision you make, every habit you build, every risk you take, every relationship you tolerate, and every dream you pursue is influenced by the thoughts you repeatedly entertain. This is why protecting your mind is one of the most important responsibilities you will ever have. Some people allow anything to enter their mind. They listen to constant negativity, endless criticism, fear-driven conversations, and destructive opinions every single day. Then they wonder why they feel emotionally drained, mentally weak, and spiritually exhausted. But your mind was never designed to function properly while consuming poison daily. Just as unhealthy food weakens the body, unhealthy thoughts weaken the mind. You cannot expect confidence while feeding your mind doubt. You cannot expect peace while feeding your mind chaos. You cannot expect growth while feeding your mind fear. The battle for your future always begins with the battle for your thinking. Many people lose before they even start because they have already accepted defeat mentally. They look at opportunities and immediately think about failure. They look at challenges and immediately think about quitting. They speak negatively about themselves so often that insecurity becomes their identity. And eventually, their life begins to reflect the limitations they continuously repeat in their mind. You must understand something powerful. Your thoughts become beliefs. Your beliefs influence actions, and your actions shape your destiny. This means that every day you are either building yourself mentally or destroying yourself mentally. There is no neutral ground. That is why you must become intentional about what enters your mind. Not everybody deserves access to your mental space. Some people only spread discouragement. Every conversation is filled with complaints, excuses, gossip, bitterness, and hopelessness. If you constantly surround yourself with negative energy, eventually your mind will begin to normalize negativity. The people around you influence the way you think more than you realize. If you stay around people who fear growth, eventually you will fear growth. If you stay around people who avoid discipline, eventually you will avoid discipline. If you stay around people who constantly complain, eventually gratitude disappears from your life. A strong mindset requires strong environments. This does not mean you become arrogant or think you are better than others. It means you become protective of your peace, your focus, and your future. You must learn to separate yourself from environments that continuously weaken your spirit. Some people are committed to remaining stuck, and if you are not careful, they will pull you into the same mentality. Your mind needs daily training. Positive thinking is not automatic. Mental strength is developed intentionally. Every day you must feed your mind with truth, wisdom, encouragement, and purpose. Read things that challenge your thinking. Listen to messages that inspire growth. Spend time with people who speak vision instead of fear. The strongest minds are not built accidentally. They are built through consistent mental discipline. And hear this carefully. Controlling your mind does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to allow temporary situations to define your identity. A positive mental attitude is not pretending life is easy. It is believing that difficulty does not have the authority to destroy your future. Some people collapse emotionally the moment pressure appears because their mentality was built only for comfort. But life will test everybody. There will be disappointment. There will be rejection. There will be delays. There will be moments where things do not go according to plan. The question is not whether challenges will come. The question is whether your mind is strong enough to survive them. Your thoughts during difficult moments matter more than your circumstances. Two people can experience the same storm and produce completely different outcomes. One becomes bitter while the other becomes wiser. One gives up while the other grows stronger. One sees obstacles while the other sees opportunities for growth. The difference is perspective. You must train yourself to think differently. When failure happens, do not immediately call yourself a failure. When rejection happens, do not immediately believe you are worthless. When mistakes happen, do not convince yourself your future is over. Every setback contains a lesson if your mentality is mature enough to learn from it. You also need to pay attention to your internal conversations. Many people are being destroyed not by enemies, but by their own self-talk. The words you repeat to yourself every day are shaping your confidence, your courage, and your emotional strength. If you constantly tell yourself that you are weak, incapable, unlucky, or hopeless, eventually your mind will accept those words as truth. Your mouth must stop working against your future. There is power in speaking life over yourself. Encourage yourself even when nobody else does. Remind yourself that temporary pain is not permanent defeat. Remind yourself that growth takes time. Remind yourself that every successful person once struggled before succeeding. You do not become mentally strong overnight. It is a process. Every day you must choose discipline over negativity. Every day you must reject thoughts that weaken your spirit. Every day you must protect your focus from distractions that destroy peace. And perhaps the most important lesson is this: you must stop giving external situations complete control over your internal condition. If your peace depends on perfect circumstances, you will never have lasting peace. Real mental strength is the ability to remain focused, hopeful, and disciplined even when life becomes difficult. An unbreakable positive mental attitude begins when you decide that your mind will no longer be a prison filled with fear, doubt, and negativity. Instead, it becomes a place where vision grows, confidence develops, discipline strengthens, and purpose comes alive. Because once you learn to control your mind, you begin to control the direction of your life. Most people pray for strength, but they do everything possible to avoid struggle. They want confidence without pressure, growth without discomfort, success without sacrifice, and resilience without adversity. But life does not work that way. Strength is not developed in comfort. Strength is developed in resistance. Every difficult season you face carries the potential to either break you or build you, depending on your mentality. Challenges are not always punishments. Sometimes they are preparation. Many people look at hard times and immediately assume life is against them. They become angry, discouraged, and emotionally exhausted because things are not happening the way they expected. But what if the pressure you are experiencing is not designed to destroy you? What if it is designed to reveal a stronger version of yourself you have never discovered before? You do not truly know your capacity until life tests you. Anybody can stay motivated when everything is easy. Anybody can stay positive when money is flowing, opportunities are appearing, relationships are healthy, and life feels comfortable. But real character is revealed during difficult moments. Pressure exposes what is inside a person. When life becomes heavy, weak mentalities collapse, but disciplined minds grow stronger. This is why you must stop seeing every struggle as the end of your story. Some of the strongest people in the world were shaped through painful seasons. Their confidence was born through rejection. Their wisdom was born through failure. Their discipline was built through disappointment. Their resilience was developed through moments where quitting felt easier than continuing. Pain changes people, but it does not have to weaken them. Sometimes pain matures you. Sometimes struggle sharpens your focus. Sometimes difficulty removes distractions from your life and forces you to discover your true priorities. There are lessons comfort can never teach. A person who has never struggled often lacks depth, endurance, and emotional discipline. But someone who has survived storms develops a different mindset. They learn patience. They learn persistence. They learn emotional control. They learn how to keep moving even when they feel uncertain. Difficult seasons create internal strength that easy seasons cannot produce. That is why you must stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this season teaching me?" Every challenge contains a lesson if you are willing to learn from it. Failure, for example, is one of the greatest teachers in life. But many people fear failure so much that they never attempt anything meaningful. They would rather stay comfortable than risk embarrassment. They would rather remain average than experience temporary defeat. But failure is not proof that you are incapable. Failure is proof that you are trying, learning, growing, and developing. Every successful person failed before succeeding. People see the victory, but they rarely see the process behind it. They do not see the sleepless nights, the disappointments, the criticism, the setbacks, the self-doubt, and the pressure. They only see the final result. But behind every great achievement is a story filled with persistence. The difference between successful people and defeated people is not that one group never struggles. The difference is that one group refuses to stop. You cannot allow temporary pain to create permanent surrender. Some people experience one setback and emotionally collapse. One rejection convinces them they are not valuable. One mistake convinces them they are not capable. One difficult season convinces them their future is over. But mature thinking understands that life moves in seasons. Storms do not last forever. Pressure does not last forever. Delays do not last forever. Your responsibility is to survive the season without losing your vision. And listen carefully. Resilience is not pretending you never feel pain. Strong people still experience fear, disappointment, frustration, and exhaustion. The difference is that they refuse to allow emotions to control their decisions. They keep moving forward even when they feel uncomfortable. That is true mental strength. There will be days when motivation disappears. Days when progress feels slow. Days when nobody supports you. Days when your hard work seems unnoticed. But discipline means you continue anyway. Discipline means your commitment becomes stronger than your emotions. Too many people only work when they feel inspired. But greatness requires consistency, not temporary motivation. Pressure also teaches you who you really are. Sometimes life removes distractions so you can discover your true character. Difficult seasons reveal your habits, your patience, your emotional maturity, and your mindset. Pressure exposes weakness, but it also creates opportunity for growth. If you respond correctly, challenges can transform you into a stronger, wiser, and more disciplined person. You must stop running from discomfort. Growth feels uncomfortable because it requires change. Discipline feels uncomfortable because it demands sacrifice. Responsibility feels uncomfortable because it removes excuses. But everything valuable in life requires discomfort before transformation. Think about this. Muscles grow through resistance. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined through fire. In the same way, strong mentality is developed through challenges. The people who become mentally unbreakable are usually the people who refuse to quit during hard seasons. And sometimes the greatest victory is simply continuing. Not every season of life will feel exciting. Some seasons are about endurance. Some seasons are about surviving emotionally while you continue building quietly behind the scenes. You may not see immediate results, but every moment of discipline is strengthening your foundation. Do not underestimate the power of persistence. A river cuts through rock not because of power, but because of consistency. In the same way, your continued effort, your continued faith, your continued discipline, and your continued positive mentality will eventually create transformation. You are stronger than you think. The challenge you are facing today may feel overwhelming, but it is also developing qualities inside you that comfort could never produce. Every obstacle is teaching you endurance. Every setback is teaching you wisdom. Every delay is teaching you patience. Every difficult moment is preparing you for responsibilities you are not ready for yet. One day you will look back and realize that the seasons you thought were breaking you were actually building you. So do not fear pressure. Do not fear challenges. Do not fear failure. Do not fear difficult seasons. Face them with courage. Face them with discipline. Face them with faith. Because every time you rise after falling, every time you continue after disappointment, and every time you choose positivity in the middle of pressure, you are developing an unbreakable mindset that no circumstance can destroy. Most people underestimate the power of words. They think words are temporary sounds that disappear after they are spoken, but words shape thoughts, thoughts shape beliefs, and beliefs shape behavior. The conversations you hear daily and the conversations you have with yourself are influencing the direction of your life more than you realize. Your mind is always listening to your words. Some people wake up every morning speaking defeat over themselves without even noticing it. They say things like, "I'll never succeed, nothing ever works for me, I'm not talented enough, my life will never change." After repeating these words long enough, the mind begins to accept them as truth. Eventually, the person stops trying, stops believing, and stops growing because their own language has weakened their confidence. You cannot continuously speak negativity and expect to live with positivity. The words you repeat daily either build your spirit or destroy it. This is why controlling your self-talk is one of the most important parts of developing an unbreakable positive mental attitude. You must learn to become aware of the voice inside your head. Some people are being bullied every day, not by others, but by themselves. They criticize themselves constantly. They replay failures repeatedly. They magnify weaknesses while ignoring progress. And slowly their own thoughts become a prison. You must stop speaking against your future. That does not mean pretending you have no problems. It means refusing to let your problems define your identity. There is a difference between acknowledging difficulty and surrendering to negativity. Mature thinking recognizes challenges without allowing those challenges to destroy hope. When life becomes difficult, your self-talk matters even more. Anybody can speak confidently during easy seasons. But what do you say to yourself when things fall apart? What do you believe when opportunities disappear? What thoughts dominate your mind during pressure? Those moments reveal the true condition of your mentality. Strong people have learned how to encourage themselves. Even when nobody supports them, they continue believing. Even when progress is slow, they continue working. Even when they feel uncertain, they continue moving forward. Their strength does not come from perfect conditions. Their strength comes from disciplined thinking. You have to train yourself to replace destructive thoughts with empowering ones. When fear says, "You cannot handle this," you must remind yourself of every challenge you already survived. When failure says, "You are not capable," you must remember that growth takes time. When doubt says, "Give up," you must answer with persistence. Your inner voice should become stronger than external negativity. And let me tell you something important. Not everybody deserves access to your emotional environment. Some people constantly drain your energy because negativity is their lifestyle. Every conversation is filled with complaints, gossip, criticism, excuses, and hopelessness. After spending enough time around people like that, your spirit becomes heavy without you even realizing it. Environment influences mentality. If you surround yourself with fear, eventually fear feels normal. If you surround yourself with laziness, eventually discipline disappears. If you surround yourself with negativity, eventually positivity becomes difficult to maintain. This is why emotionally intelligent people protect their environment carefully. They understand that peace is valuable. They understand that energy matters. They understand that who they listen to consistently affects how they think. You cannot build a powerful mindset while constantly entertaining destructive influences. Some relationships are damaging your focus. Some conversations are damaging your confidence. Some environments are damaging your emotional stability. And sometimes growth requires distance. Not because you hate people, not because you think you are better than others, but because your future requires protection. You cannot become mentally strong while constantly exposing yourself to environments that weaken your spirit. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. Some people lose emotional control because they involve themselves in every argument, every drama, every conflict, and every unnecessary distraction. They react to everything. They respond to every insult. They waste energy trying to prove themselves to people who are committed to misunderstanding them. But mature people understand something powerful. Not every battle deserves your attention. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Sometimes the strongest response is walking away. Sometimes the strongest response is refusing to allow negativity access to your mind. Peace is power under control. And while protecting your environment externally, you must also strengthen yourself internally through gratitude. Gratitude changes the way you see life. A grateful mind focuses on possibilities instead of limitations. It sees blessings instead of only burdens. It sees lessons inside painful experiences. Many people remain unhappy because they are obsessed with what they lack while ignoring what they already possess. They compare themselves constantly. They focus only on problems. They forget how far they have already come. And slowly negativity becomes their natural perspective. But gratitude shifts your mentality. When you wake up grateful, your energy changes. When you appreciate progress, your confidence grows. When you recognize blessings, fear loses power over your mind. Gratitude does not mean your life is perfect. It means you refuse to allow problems to blind you from everything good that still exists. And hear this clearly. Emotional strength requires emotional discipline. You cannot allow every emotion to control your behavior. Some days you will feel discouraged. Some days you will feel frustrated. Some days you will feel emotionally exhausted. But mentally strong people understand that feelings are temporary. They do not build their life around emotions alone. Your emotions should inform you, not control you. Too many people quit because they no longer feel motivated. But success is not built on feelings. Success is built on consistency. You must continue growing even when emotions fluctuate. You must continue protecting your peace even when people misunderstand you. You must continue speaking positively even when circumstances seem difficult. That is what emotional maturity looks like. At the end of the day, your life is deeply connected to the condition of your internal environment. If your mind is filled with negativity, fear, bitterness, and chaos, eventually your life will reflect it. But if your mind is filled with purpose, gratitude, discipline, faith, and positive thinking, eventually your actions will begin creating a different future. Never forget this: your words carry power, your environment carries influence, and your thoughts carry direction. Guard them carefully. Because the moment you learn to control your self-talk, protect your peace, and surround yourself with the right influences, you begin developing a mindset that remains strong even in difficult seasons. Most people are not destroyed by lack of talent. They are destroyed by lack of vision. When a person has no purpose, no direction, and no reason to keep moving forward, even small problems begin to feel overwhelming. But when your life is connected to a clear vision, your mentality changes. You stop living only for temporary emotions and begin living for something greater than the present moment. Vision gives pain meaning. A person without vision becomes controlled by circumstances. Every obstacle discourages them. Every delay frustrates them. Every criticism weakens them. But a person with purpose understands that struggle is often part of the journey towards something bigger. They know that temporary discomfort is sometimes necessary for long-term growth. This is why you must develop a life bigger than your excuses. Many people wake up every day without direction. They move through life reacting instead of building. They spend years distracted, emotionally unstable, and mentally exhausted because they have never truly discovered what they are living for. Without purpose, discipline becomes difficult because there is nothing meaningful pulling them forward. Purpose creates endurance. When your vision is strong enough, you learn how to survive difficult seasons without losing hope. You may feel tired, but you keep going because your future matters to you. You may face rejection, but you keep improving because your assignment is greater than temporary disappointment. You may experience delays, but you continue preparing because you understand that growth requires patience. Vision changes how you interpret hardship. Some people see obstacles and immediately stop moving. Others see obstacles and become more determined. The difference is purpose. When you know where you are going, temporary setbacks no longer have the power to completely destroy your mentality. You need goals that challenge you. You need dreams that stretch your potential. You need a reason to wake up with focus and determination. A person without goals easily becomes distracted by negativity, comparison, entertainment, and emotional instability. But a person with vision becomes more protective of their time, energy, and mindset because they understand that their future depends on their discipline today. And listen carefully. Vision requires faith, not religious performance. Not empty words. Real faith. The kind of faith that continues believing even when results are invisible. The kind of faith that keeps working during seasons of uncertainty. The kind of faith that refuses to surrender because circumstances look difficult. Faith is the ability to see possibility before evidence appears. Many people quit too early because they only believe in what they can immediately see. The moment progress becomes slow, they lose confidence. The moment life becomes uncomfortable, they stop trying. But mentally strong people understand that success often develops quietly before it becomes visible publicly. A seed spends time underground before anybody sees growth. In the same way, your discipline, your sacrifices, your preparation, and your consistency may not produce immediate recognition, but that does not mean progress is absent. Some of the most important growth in your life happens internally before it ever appears externally. Do not become discouraged simply because the process is taking time. Great things are rarely built quickly. Strong character takes time. Emotional maturity takes time. Discipline takes time. Leadership takes time. An unbreakable positive mental attitude is developed through repeated decisions to believe, grow, and continue moving even when results feel delayed. And hear this carefully. You cannot allow other people's opinions to become the foundation of your identity. Too many people lose confidence because they are addicted to approval. They need constant validation to feel valuable. If people criticize them, they collapse emotionally. If people ignore them, they lose motivation. If people doubt them, they begin doubting themselves. But mature people understand something powerful. Not everybody will understand your vision. Some people will criticize what they cannot comprehend. Some people will mock what they secretly fear attempting. Some people will project their limitations onto your future. You cannot allow limited people to define your potential. If you spend your life trying to satisfy everybody, you will eventually betray your purpose. Sometimes you must continue walking even when people misunderstand you. Sometimes you must keep building quietly while others doubt your ability. Sometimes you must trust your journey before anybody else sees the results. This is where inner confidence becomes essential. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is trusting the process enough to continue growing even when external validation is missing. It is believing that your future is still possible despite temporary setbacks. It is understanding that one failure does not cancel your destiny. You must stop measuring your progress against other people. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy peace. Social media has made many people feel unsuccessful simply because they constantly compare their life to someone else's highlight reel. But your journey is different. Your timing is different. Your assignment is different. Focus on becoming better than you were yesterday. A tree does not grow by competing with the tree beside it. It grows by strengthening its own roots. In the same way, your responsibility is not to obsess over other people's progress. Your responsibility is to continue developing yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and professionally. And remember this, purpose requires sacrifice. You cannot build an extraordinary life while maintaining ordinary habits. Sometimes vision demands discipline when others are relaxing. Sometimes purpose demands focus when others are distracted. Sometimes growth demands isolation before elevation. There will be seasons where you must choose long-term success over temporary comfort. That is not punishment. That is preparation. Every day you must ask yourself, is my current mindset helping my future or hurting it? Because your mentality determines whether you continue moving or remain stuck. A powerful future cannot be built with weak thinking. You were not created to live controlled by fear, negativity, and limitation. You were created with the ability to grow, adapt, learn, and rise above circumstances. But this only happens when you develop vision strong enough to outlive temporary emotions. So keep believing even when progress feels slow. Keep working even when recognition is absent. Keep growing even when the process becomes uncomfortable. Keep protecting your mindset even when negativity surrounds you. Because the people who eventually become unstoppable are not always the most talented. They are often the people who refuse to lose faith in their purpose during difficult seasons. And once a person combines vision, discipline, faith, and an unbreakable positive mental attitude, there is very little in life that can stop them from becoming who they were meant to be.